Yes, y'all. That was a ugly win. That was an ugly win Sunday. It was ugly, and it was kind of bittersweet in my own humble opinion because I've been saying since day one, Matt Eberflus should not be the coach right now. He shouldn't have been the coach before Caleb Williams was even drafted. Now I don't know what Ben Johnson is looking for, what he wanted. But if there was any chance, any small chance that he could have been had, I think Ryan Poles should have pulled that trigger. Now, sooner or later, it's going to come out exactly what Ben Johnson wants, what teams he's interested in, what situation he's interested in. There's a lot of rumors out there. Hopefully, he's not on that Bill Belichick type tip to where he wants to be the GM and coach, like complete control freak or like over everything. Hopefully he's not one of those situations. If it's not, I think Ryan Poles should be laying the seeds out to find a way to bring Ben Johnson to the Bears as the new head coach to develop Caleb Williams. If you look back at the Chicago Bulls had Doug Collins. Doug Collins was a decent coach. He was solid. He was a good coach. Would the Bulls still have won 6 championships with Doug Collins? I'm not gonna say 100%ly that it would not have happened, and I'm not gonna say that it would happen either way. Doug Collins was a pretty good coach, but the Bulls wasn't afraid to move on and bring in Phil Jackson, and that was history right there. It turned into a dynasty. Ryan Poles have to have a similar gumption about himself. He has to be willing to, even if this season is not a total dumpster fire, and that's the key touching point right there. That's a tricky point right there. Because let's say the Bears make the playoffs as a wild card. They don't have the best record in the world. They kind of, because every year it depends on how things shape out. We've had years in the past where a wild card team got in playing 500, and of course, it was a lot of that was based on a division was sucked. So, but anything can happen, and you don't necessarily have to be 12-5 to get into the playoffs. But the problem is, if the Bears make the playoffs, then you see how Ryan Poles is when it comes to the mistake of drafting Velus Jones. He tends to double down on his mistakes. He didn't double down on the mistake with Chase Claypool because he was just a jerk, and no doubt he was a team cancer. And Velus Jones, a lot of people like Velus Jones, so that's one of the things that's saving him. And the other thing is being drafted by Ryan Poles. And hopefully this is not a trend that's starting to develop. Ryan Poles makes a decision and, he would rather double down on the wrong decision than admit it was the wrong decision and move on. Matt Eberflus was the wrong decision. He was definitely the wrong decision as far as, sticking with him. I believe this is the last year of his deal. So maybe that's because history shows that the McCaskeys don't really like paying 2 different coaches at the same time. Firing a coach in the middle of his contract, then having to pay the remainder of that contract to that coach, then bring in another coach and having to pay that coach. They normally don't like to operate like that. So, if that was the reason why Ryan Poles didn't do that, hopefully there's some background gray area communication with Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson. which is why Ben Johnson chose to return to Detroit as the offensive coordinator. Maybe that was the issue right there. Hopefully that's what's going on, because I really don't. Matt Eberflus is not going to lead the Bears to a Super Bowl victory, and at the end of the day, that is the end goal of what the Bears organization should be striving for, and what Chicago Bears fans want for this team. So if Ryan Poles gives Matt Eberflus an extension, then the clock needs to be sped up on Ryan Poles also, because that's two glaring mistakes that you would rather double down on rather than cut ties and be like, you know what, this ain't working, it was a mistake, let me fix this right now, instead of dragging it on, creating a bigger dumpster fire in the future. Right now it's just a smoldering one, but the more you drag on a mistake, the bigger the mistake is going to get, and then it's going to explode on everybody. But you know what? The one that's going to be holding the bag is you, Ryan Poles. And you need to be concentrating on that offensive line. You bring in Ben Johnson, you spend all your resources, draft picks, and salary cap space on the offensive line, and you can be Super Bowl contenders next year. But if you double down on the mistake of Matt Eberflus, you're just speeding up the clock on your own demise. So Bears Nation, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section about this whole dynamic and the bittersweet win against the Rams. Feels good. Yes, it was a good, solid team win, but the overall long-term view and vision for this team, could this come back to bite the Bears in the end? Every win that they have this season, the Bears making the playoffs this season, would that actually be a step backwards because Ryan Poles would be more tempted to double down on the mistake of Matt Eberflus? Let me know what y'all think. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with everybody. Show support to the channel. Hit up the Cash App, $, Cobra Clutch 357. I'm out.